Hello everyone, this is Aaron. In this class, we're going to unpack the relevance of the story of Lin Zexu to today's society. First of all, I'm going to talk about it from my own perspective as a Chinese person born after 1990. Then my British colleague David is going to cover mostly the same content, but completely in English. This is going to be fantastic English listening practice, so I suggest you listen several times until you get it all. And now, without any further ado, let's begin the class. 在虎门销烟的故事中，我们可以看到，即使面对鸦片商人的威逼利诱，林则徐在禁毒方面的决心也十分巨大，不肯做半点让步。这个故事已经过去了170多年的时间，到现在，禁毒仍然是世界各地一个永恒的话题，我们国家更是如此。现在中国有一群人长期奋战在禁毒战斗的一线，但他们中许多人不像林则徐那样名垂青史，因为工作长期需要潜伏，同时担心毒贩对他们个人和家人的报复，很多人的身份信息是不能公开的。这就是缉毒警察，英文可以表示为 Drug Squad Police。近2年，随着一些描写缉毒警察的影视作品出现，一部分缉毒警察的事迹才被人熟知，而真正的数据往往令人更加震撼。因为与毒贩斗争是一项极其危险的工作，而且贩毒量刑严重，毒贩们往往都是胆大包天的亡命之徒。许多有势力的毒贩也都有自己的武装力量。我们中国人常常把警察形容成金色盾牌，用英文说这句话就是We Chinese always describe the police as the golden shield。正是他们的付出和牺牲，才让我们能够享受到现在和谐安逸的社会氛围。除了在前方浴血奋战的缉毒警察外，我们国家现在也不断研发出各类高科技产品，辅助禁毒工作。首先，在检测方面，近几年通过检测嫌疑人毛发就可以确认他是否吸毒。传统尿液与血液检查可能只能查出近几天的吸毒史，而毛发检测则可以追溯到近几年的吸毒史。毛发检测用英文可以怎么说呢？是 hair detection。而除了毛发检测外，近年来备受军事青睐的无人机也运用到了禁毒行动当中。无人机的英文名叫做 Unmanned Aerial Vehicle， 英文缩写是 UAV。电视剧《破冰行动》The Thunder 中，贩毒村庄塔寨原型是广东省陆丰村。在对村庄中的贩毒集团采取行动时，警方便出动了无人机，对贩毒窝点的热源进行探测，同时对贩毒窝点制作流程进行拍摄，掌握了大量证据，为案件最后破获立下了汗马功劳。
In this story about destroying opium at Humen, we can see how Lin Zexu used tough and defiant methods to stop opium merchants. When it came to stopping the drugs trade, he really did show incredible determination. He would not even yield an inch. This story already occurred more than 170 years ago. However, stopping the drugs trade, or as it is often put, the war against drugs, is a perennial problem that is still ongoing. China is no exception. Just now, Aaron talked about a group of people who are in the front line of China's war against drugs. However, many of these men and women are not public figures, let alone famous characters from history like Lin Zexu. The reason for this is that fighting drugs by its very nature requires a certain degree of subterfuge. Those involved in the war against drugs need to keep a low profile so that they will not alert criminals. They are also, of course, often concerned about criminals taking revenge on themselves or their families. The people he is talking about are that division of the police known as the Drug Squad. Aaron tells us that it is only in recent years, since certain films and TV series about Drug Squad police have been shown, that ordinary people have grown to learn a little bit about their operations and tactics. The work of drug squad detectives is incredibly dangerous. Since the penalties for drug trafficking are so severe, the kinds of criminals involved in it tend to be incredibly bold and daring. Many of them carry weapons and are not afraid to use them. Statistics show that 362 drug squad police were killed in action in the year 2016 alone. In other words, on average, almost one drug squad detective is killed every day. Statistics also show that a drug squad policeman's chance of being killed is about 4.9 times higher than that for an ordinary policeman. The chance of being injured is 10 times higher. In China, police are often described as a golden shield. However, as Aaron points out, it is only through their sacrifice that we are able to enjoy the comfort and security provided by this shield. Apart from the blood-spattered frontline war against drugs, China is continually developing all kinds of high-tech products to help in the war against drugs. In recent years, testing techniques have improved dramatically. Testing the hair of those suspected of taking drugs can now frequently confirm whether or not there are traces of illegal drugs in their body. In the past, urine tests or blood tests could only confirm if drugs had been in the body system for within the last few days. Hair tests or hair detection can confirm whether or not someone has taken drugs within the last few years. In recent years, unmanned aerial vehicles or UAVs, often known actually as drones, have also started being used in police work against drug trafficking. Aaron mentioned a popular Chinese TV series called The Thunder, which featured drones being used in the fight against a drug-dealing village in Guangdong province. The drones were used to monitor and photograph, thus helping police gather evidence.
像当年林则徐一样，我们国家的政府以及司法部门之所以在禁毒问题上态度如此坚决，除了本身巨大的责任感外，他们也深刻意识到毒品对于社会、家庭以及个人的巨大危害。我们需要明白的是，毒品到底是如何侵害到个人以及家庭的。其实最根本原因是因为所有毒品都具有侵蚀我们神经中枢的物质。吸毒之后，人的心跳、血压、脉搏都会不受我们自己的控制，同时使人的身体对毒品产生强烈的依赖性。毒瘾发作时，人会出现狂躁情绪，甚至做出过激行为。为了得到毒品，更是可能出现犯罪等恶劣行为。毕竟吸毒首先需要承担法律责任，这一辈子你可能都要背负相应的不良记录，同时也会让你无法正常学习和工作。而试想一下，这个世界有那么多的美食、音乐和艺术品，你都会因此无法去享受和欣赏，这个代价是不是非常巨大呢？屏幕前有许多的观众都处在青春期阶段，在这个年龄段是生理、心理发育的关键时期，好奇心重，面对许多新鲜事物的涌来，难免会让青少年有些难以判断，因此一定要做到珍爱生命，远离毒品。首先就是学会拒绝，这是保护自己最好的方法。另外，青少年精力充沛，正是培养良好兴趣爱好的大好时光。许多吸毒者染上毒瘾的原因，是因为内心的极度空虚。所以在平常日常生活中，加强体育锻炼，培养有趣且有益的爱好是非常有必要的。再有就是要学好文化知识，武装好自己的头脑。相信当我们内心具备足够的知识辨别能力、完善的价值观之后，我们也能更好地保护自己，从而不会轻易被教唆和诱惑。
Just like Lin Zexu in his day, China's government and legal agencies realize the enormous harm and damage drug taking can have on society and realize that it needs to be combated with very firm measures. Aaron then went on to talk about some of the reasons why drugs can be so harmful to families and society. He talked about how they have ingredients which affect the nervous system. Drugs play havoc with people's heartbeat, pulse and blood pressure. They also gradually increase people's reliance on drugs. While people are under the effect of drugs, their emotions can become unbalanced or their behaviour will become far more volatile. Many will turn to crime in order to fund their drug addiction habits. Of course, it has a massive impact both on studies and on work. Aaron then went on to address you, the audience, saying, "You are mostly young and at a critical time in your lives, both in terms of education and psychological development. You are at an age when your curiosity is at its highest. you are also constantly faced with all kinds of new and fresh information bubbling forth. It can be difficult to make sense of it all, so we must be sure to follow a principle of cherishing your life and keeping well away from drugs. First of all, you have to learn how to refuse drugs when offered. Learning to refuse is one of the best ways of protecting yourself. On the other hand, when you are young, it is the perfect time to cultivate healthy interests and habits. It is often the case that young people who take up drugs do so because they feel too much emptiness or boredom. So the question then becomes how to fill up time better. Exercise and sport is one excellent method. Taking up some interesting pastimes or hobbies is also important. It is also really important to keep your mind active by expanding your knowledge as well as improving your analytical skills and sense of judgment. Keeping your mind active and cultivating mature life values are all ways of protecting yourself from the temptations of drugs. This is sound advice from Aaron and worth paying attention to.